Americanization in interwar Germany. Following World War I and Germany's transition into the Weimar Republic, the economic situation in the Reich was in a terrible state. A single Reichmark at the beginning of the war decreased to over a billionth of its value by 1924. People needed to use wheelbarrows to withdraw their life savings from the banks, and paper money was used to light fires since it was cheaper to do so than with newspapers. Germany was forced to cut back on its war reparations to the Brits and the French as well, which did not make them too happy. It was dire straits indeed. Luckily, the red, white, and blue came to the rescue. In 1924, the Dawes Plan was initiated, which pumped American dollars into the German economy. Thanks to this good old American plan, inflation was halted, Germany was able to pay their war debt, and the United States would be reimbursed in their war loans. Yes, there was much rejoicing. However, the American presence in Germany was not solely a monetary one. Thanks to the American economic assistance, American culture found its way through the cracks as well. Germany was already being influenced by America's industrial practices, such as the concepts of one Henry Ford. Look at that good-looking all-American guy. His business practices, dubbed Fordism, entailed specialization of a specific function by individual employees, and the usage of an assembly line to keep things moving and chip chop chip. Many in the Weimar government, notably the Social Democrats, saw this system as the key to mass consumption of goods and culture, which they believed could fix the limping German economy once and for all. After 1924, with the United States' financial influence, jazz became a huge part of German culture. The Weimar Expressionist movement created a fascination with the limitless musical creativity that emerged from the American Midwest. Jazz performers voyaged to Germany and were given a hot welcome, especially singer Josephine Baker, seen here in her scandalous banana costume. Yowza! This influenced German musicians to take their own stab at jazz, like Eric Borchardt, composer of this toe-tapping number from 1924 entitled Shufflin' Loose. Wow, that rhythm got my eyebrows a-wiggling. But American influence didn't stop at music. Cinema received a good old American kick in the pants as well. By 1926, nearly half of all films shown in Germany came out of Hollywood studios. Germans were obsessed with American stars, like that rapscallion Charlie Chaplin, and many preferred American comedies over those boring European dramas. Because of this, the German film studio UFA reached an agreement with Hollywood studios over the distribution of films in their respective countries. This led to an exchange of ideas that made Americanism more prevalent in German films. America became a symbol for confident characters, societal change, democracy, and even those negative things like indulgence and superficiality. Of course, Americanism had its whiny critics. Writer Stefan Zweig saw Americanism as the embodiment of monotony in European society and the beginning of America's economic and cultural conquest of the world. Yeah, well, buddy, your mustache is the embodiment of bad taste in facial hair. What you do, let a ferret die across your upper lip? Take that. Unfortunately, this American exportation of money and culture to Germany would hit a huge bump with the stock market crash and Great Depression of 1929. This occurred almost simultaneously to a backlash against American culture, with attendance to American films dropping 30% by 1932, and criticism against jazz increasing, especially to its connection to black performers. Key players in this change were none other than those stinking Nazis. Once they ascended to power in 1933, they implemented a purge of any cultural medias that was considered non-German. Goebbels organized the Reich Chamber of Culture, which was meant to organize and control the cultural influences in the Reich. They even endorsed propaganda portraying American music in Weimar under the label degenerate, such as this poster for an anti-jazz museum exhibition. While Hitler did look to the symbol of America as the ideal for modernity and progress, he wished to break all cultural and economic ties to foreign influence. Nonetheless, Americanization of Weimar culture was an important step in opening the doors and altering the cultural identity of Germany, helped by the United States' financial assistance. After the hard-fought victory against those Nazi scumbags in the Second World War, Germany was able to return to cultural acceptance and become the open-minded federal republic that we know today. Yodelay-hee-hoo. And that's Americanization in interwar Germany.